Hello, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon as per your respective time zones. On behalf of entire Managed Services team, we would like to welcome you all to 23A Benefits and Compensation Advisory Webinar session. This important session is to keep you fully synchronized with the new features and functionalities as a part of this quarterly release that Oracle provides. My name is Komal Abel and I am an Operations Executive at Managed Services team Mastek. Today I am your host for this session. I am glad to introduce my colleague Aditya Anand, who is a part of our vast HCM team at Mastek. Today, he will take us through all the benefits and compensation updates for 23A quarterly release. Today's session is planned for around 45 to 60 minutes. And we will make sure that we also spare some time to answer all your questions if you have any. We have our panelists along with us to answer your questions. Before we move to agenda, let's have a quick look at the important disclaimer. Moving to agenda. Our approach to Oracle updates. We would like to convey you our approach towards Oracle update in a very simpler method. Our analysis of latest release. We will be taking you through the vital analysis of 23A updates done by our experts, which will help you incorporating the new features and updates easily in the system. Also, we will sync you on any known issues and bugs. Lastly, it's good to have an interactive session and question and answers. Please do ask questions through chat or question panel. We will answer them at the end of the session. In case we run out of time, we will make sure to respond you back by connecting you at a later stage. This is to give you a glimpse of how we have created the structure of this session. So we have a list of new features coming into 23A. Detailing on features so as you get brief understanding on what new features are all about. Next one is what are the business benefits and the important takeaway for you as a decision maker. There are 4 components where we have done in-depth analysis of features which we are going to present to you. First one is impact level analysis, which demonstrates the impact on the end user. If it is low impact, then regression testing can be avoided. If it is high, then we need to opt for regression testing. Second one is, which is we all are aware that there are some features which are by default auto enabled by Oracle and there are some which we need to opt for. Third one highlights the nature of the feature. There would be certain configurations which may be required or some can be used without any changes. Last one is a quick win. This term we use to simply convey that what is ready to use by investing minimum amount of time and what requires a significant amount of time and effort to make use of this feature. Moving ahead, we would like to know with the help of a quick poll which industry does your organization belong to. Launching the poll on your screens now. Thank you all for voting. Closing the poll now. Now, I would like to hand it over to our speaker, Aditya.
Thank you, Komal, for the wonderful introduction. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone, according to the respective region you are tuning in. My name is Aditya Anand, and I'll be orating the new features of Benefits and Compensation 23A update. We have procured a detailed analysis of all the updates, and our agenda is to introduce you to all the features and the corresponding business benefits of the feature. Let's have a look at the summary of features. There are 29 features in 23-year updates. 25 updates are from compensation and 4 are from benefits module. The given graph summarizes the feature into two main categories, default and opt-ins. Default are the ones that are already enabled from the update effective date. For enabling opt-in features, customers have to raise an Oracle SR. The rest features contains the features from report as well as removed features. In the default, there are 23 quick win features and 5 features are REST. For the opt-ins, we have one quick win feature and there are no REST features for opt-ins. Furthermore, we have divided the features into 4 major categories. We'll be looking at the features of each category, which will be followed by the Q&A sessions at the end. Please feel free to post your queries in the chat box and our panelists will take up the questions. Our first category is Quick Win Default with no configuration. The features listed in this category are auto-enabled and require minimal testing. The first update is from Workforce Compensation. Filter Workforce Compensation worksheet setup columns. We, as a compensation administrators, are all familiar with the mundane task of navigating while configuring the worksheet columns. This new update comes as a rescue with 3 new filters, namely column groups, columns, and display names. In the column groups filter, we can view a specific group and work on it. Let's suppose we want to work currently on only the personal column group. So we'll click on personal and all the columns that are listed in the personal group will be visible. Similarly, the other column group functions accordingly. In the columns filter, we can sort the columns according to the configuration, such as disabled, enabled, initially hidden, and read only. These are the changes that we do at the properties or at the dynamic column level of each columns. Similarly, we can filter the columns on the basis of display name too. This enhancement lets compensation implementators and administrators find columns more quickly in the plan setup. The next update is from individual compensation. View individual compensation input values details in individual compensation sections and on pages. Often, we use individual compensation plans with more than one input value. To view these values, we have to drill down or click on Edit. In that case, we view the page in edit mode. With this update, users can view the input values on read-only pages by expanding contribution or compensation. This update has been enabled in the given pages: manage personal contribution, individual compensation, administer compensation, and the compensation section in the create and edit offer flow and the global HR flows. This enhancement Let's user easily see proposed value of all input value for individual compensation. Moving ahead to the next feature. Check integrity of all individual compensation plans introduction. This update is pretty straightforward and equally efficient. The administrators can now check the integrity of all compensation plans with a single click. If there are any error messages, the system will let us know accordingly. One such example is the error message given on the screen. Similarly, it will function for other error messages too. This enhancement lets you quickly validate all compensation plans together rather than one at a time. Next, we have action in Transaction Design Studio is corrected to individual compensation. While using the HCM Experience Design Studio for individual compensation, the term compensation in managed compensation often implied ambiguous meanings. In this update, Oracle has renamed the action as individual compensation to remove the ambiguity. This enhancement makes sure that the action names are consistent, thus removing confusion. The next update is from workforce compensation. New budget validation options when allocating compensation. The warning messages for managers has been modified while going both over budget and under budget. For over budget, the error option has been modified into the following options. Error preventing save and submit, warn on save and submit, error preventing submit, warn on save, and error preventing submit. When the manager is going under budget, the available options are no validation, warn on submit, and error preventing submit. This enhancement makes sure that the manager adhere to the budget amounts before they submit their plans. Moving ahead to the next feature, include allocations of zero in summary totals. Sometimes, due to business requirement, we have to allocate zero amount and that needs to be counted as well. Administrators can now count allocations of zero in summary totals. A new configuration option has been added to the compensation amounts column in the plan setup. This feature lets you see all allocations on the summary totals. Next, we have create optional standard component as a part of workforce compensation transfer. When compensation admins transfer salary updates to HR to people with salary bases configured with standard components, they will now receive fewer errors when a standard component used in rate distribution wasn't part of a person's current salary. Now, the transfer process creates the optional standard component and applies the update amount. This feature reduces the number of errors in the transfer process of those people with salary basis of type salary amount is determined by simple components. The next update is from workforce compensation, removal of defaulted column configuration. The defaulted columns labeled for the compensation has been limited now. Only worker name column will be enabled in the following task types: compensation, details table only, promotion, and performance. We can configure the other columns to be displayed according to our business requirement, but by default, only the workers column will be enabled. This feature saves time for administrators because they don't need to disable unneeded columns now. The next update is view grade step changes in promotion counts. While making grade changes in compensation worksheet, it was difficult to track the changes done. To overcome this issue, Oracle has added two new columns in the approval task type setup that will allow us to display grade rate changes in the details column and the grade rate changes in the promotion grouping columns. As we can see in the figure, under columns, the new grade step changes has been added. This feature lets people review grade step changes as a part of promotion. Moving ahead to the next feature, use grade step values in compensation change statements. For tracking grade step values in change statement, we had to create fast formula and we had to fix that fast formula in the compensation change statement. With this update, Oracle has added these columns in the all attribute list. The new attributes are grade step, grade ladder, and proposed grade step. This enhancement helps us to view people information about grade step changes in the workforce compensation. The next update is view additional person information on worker statement action report. On worker statement action report, person number and assignment number columns were not there, which often caused issue in identifying people with multiple assignments, and the issue was also faced when multiple people have the same name. The two new columns have now been added, both person number and assignment number. This enhancement lets administrators differentiate between people who have similar names or multiple assignments. The next update is from grade step progression. Graphical salary range and salary range differentials display in grade step progressions. When you drill down on a person's assignment while reviewing grade step progression results on the review proposed progressions and salary update details page, you can see both current and proposed values. The bottom of each column includes a graphical display of the salary range with a slider showing where the current or proposed salary fits in the range. This new graphic is a visual representation of the information in the preceding salary and salary range fields. Here is an example. As we can see in the figure, both the current salary and the proposed salary are being shown, with the colors mapped to their respective functions. Moving ahead to our next feature from the grid step progression. Grid step progression diagnostics. To recognize and troubleshoot the issue for grid step progression, a diagnostic test has been added for the grid step progression that looks for these type of data anomalies. Assignment grid step records with start date before assignment start date. Assignment grid step records with overlapping effective dates. Assignment and work term actions not in sync. We can now run the grid step progression diagnostic test in the diagnostic dashboard. Supply an input parameter of either grade ladder or person number. With this enhancement, improve your ability to find and correct data errors. The next steps of updates are from Market Composite. Market data. View market composite chart. To use the market in more efficient way, in 23A update, Oracle has added a chart to view market composites. Now, we can more easily visualize low and upper limit as well as target values. Oracle recommends to use the chart with 10th, 50th, and 90th percentile labeled along with target. We can also configure the remaining percentiles according to our requirement. With this update, enhance your experience in view market composites with the addition of a chart that provides visual representation of the data. The next update is market data new location HSDL for composites. Administrators can use the new HSDL templates to load all the locations at once. Previously, one had to pass locations into separate HSDL loads or they would fail. Oracle has redesigned the Create Import Template button as a choice list. Now, select either load by assignment or load by location. With this update, simplify loading composites with the new HSDL template for loading by location. The next sets of updates are from benefits module. The first update is improved benefits person electable choice diagnostic test. Whenever there is an issue with the benefit election choice, we can run the diagnostic test to do the scrutiny at first level. Following list of sections have been updated to review the setup and formulas related to life events. Under eligible dependent details, certification required status, and enrollment overridden through date. Under eligible covered dependent details, overridden status, coverage pending status, enrollment overridden through date, and program update date. Under beneficiary enrollment details, we have additional instruction text and the certification required status. This enhancement reduces the turnaround time in discovering live event issues and provides you with the suggestions to improve the live event setup. Moving ahead to the next feature, allocate credits on billing page. Benefit admin can now apply credits to participant against any outstanding bill when you review their existing credit balances. For example, the benefits administrator generates health coverage charges of $500 for June. The participant overpays $1,000 and expects the excess credit of $500 to be used for the next month. We can now use the new pay with credit options on the billing stage of the benefit self-service to apply the credits. Previously, a subsequent payment was needed for you to apply the excess amount. For multiple credit adjustments, you can use the upload billing payment workbook available in the person data loaders of the evaluation and reporting work area. Here is how you allocate the credits. Under benefit administration, you select enrollment, and from the billing task, you click on add, and from there you can pay with credits. Next, we have refund excess credit amount. Benefits admin can now refund the excess credit amount against any bill. The refund amount should be less than or equal to the available credit. Refunds will be processed only if outstanding bills are all fully paid. For example, a participant was planning to take the approved long-term unpaid leave of absence and overpaid some amount for the upcoming bills. The participant later decides not to take their unpaid leave and requests a refund of the extra amount that they had paid. We can now use the new refund option on the billings page of the benefit Service Center to refund excess credit. To refund multiple participants, you can use the Upload Billing Payment Workbook available in the Personal Data Loaders tab of the Evaluation and Reporting work area. Here is how you can refund the credits. Under Benefits Enrollment, you can go to the Billing task, and after clicking on Add, you can refund the excess credits. The last update from our category, Quick Win Default with no configuration, is prepare for the removal of the classic pages in Benefits Self-Service Center and Self-Service Benefits. In the process of moving to responsive pages from classical pages, Oracle has enabled this feature. Benefits admin now have to prepare for the removal of the classic pages starting in the 23 update. With the redesigned Benefits Service Center and Employee Self-Service pages being in place for several releases now, they can no longer switch back to the classic pages. Some of the profile options will be in read-only view. This enhancement allows the HCM responsive user experience to be the default user experience. Our next section is Quick Win Default with Configuration. To enable these sets of updates, there are some configuration which needs to be done. The first update from this section is configurable business title switcher in compensation info and my compensation. In the 22C update, Global HR introduced the REST business title LOB switcher on responsive employment info pages. As of 23A, Oracle is introducing the same features on compensation info and my compensation responsive pages. Administrators can easily identify the appropriate assignment in compensation responsive pages by configuring additional assignment attributes to display in the business title LOB switcher. To change the default person option value, we have to enable the following administrator profile values. If the profile value is not created, then we have to create it and then we have to set it to yes. This enhancement lets people accurately identify the assignment that they want to work with when the individual has multiple assignments. Moving ahead to the next update. View market composite details in compensation info. We can now see the market composite details for job or position and location or segment in a new section of the compensation info action. This information helps us to compare the person's compensation data to that of the market. So as we can see, for the person, new annual salary has been defined. We also have the 10th, 90th, and the 50th percentile, that is the Oracle recommended percentile for the market data. By default, the market composite sections isn't visible. You can use HCM Experience Design Studio to make it visible. For custom compensation roles, you need to add the View Market Composite Summary privilege to your custom job roles using the Security Console. Next, we have include document records in salary proposals. Sometimes while proposing salary, we have to add the documents supporting that approval. Users can now attach document records while submitting responsive salary proposals using change salary and salary history actions. Approvers can view the attachment while they are deciding to approve or reject the proposal. After approval, the attachments are available in the individual's document records. People can also see the attached document records with salary details on My Compensation and Compensation Info salary details pages. We need to make the document record section visible in the Transaction Design Studio rules of action. For the change salary rule for the Transaction Design Studio, this settings control whether the document record sections appear in change salary action for both line managers and compensation managers. This enhancement preserves the document through the approval and after for audit purposes. The next update is from compensation module. Validate your salary approval processes. In update 21D, Oracle had introduced the ability to simulate approval transactions. From update 23A onwards, users can validate responsive salary approval transactions. They can use the HCM approval rules page of Transaction Console for change salary, administer salary, and salary history approval processes. Administrators can use the new simulate feature to test approval rule changes without having to create and submit any new transactions. This way, we can debug and incrementally build conditional logic for approval rules and instantaneously see the effect of the changes. When we are testing the approval rules for administer salary, manage salary, and salary estimate transaction manager, we can search for the transaction by the name, who created them, or during which date range it was created. To further refine your results, use the status page. The available statuses are draft, in progress, and failed. Select from the list of filtered transactions and use those values to simulate the approval results. For the test approval rule enhancement, we need to enable the HCM test approval rules enabled. We have to set it to true. If the profile value is not created, we have to first create it and then set it to true. This enhancement lets you more easily fix errors and incrementally build the approval rule conditional logic. You can see the effect of the change without having to create and submit new transactions. Moving ahead to our next update. Validate your individual compensation approval process. In the update 21D, Oracle introduced your ability to simulate approval transactions. From the update 23 onwards, you can validate responsive individual compensation approval transactions. Use the HCM approval rules page and transaction console for administer individual compensation, manage individual compensation, and manage personal contributions, processes, and actions. We can now use the new simulate features to test approval rule changes without having to create and submit any new transactions. This way, we can debug and incrementally build conditional logic for approval rules and instantaneously see the effect of the change. While using the test approval rules for administer individual compensation, manage individual compensation, and manage personal contributions, we can search for transaction by name, who created them, and during what date range it was created. To further refine your results, we can use the status field. The available statuses are draft, in progress, and failed. We can also select from the list of filtered transactions and use those values to simulate the approval rule results. For enabling this particular feature, again, we have to set the HCM test approval rules enabled to true. In case if the rule is not there, we have to first create it. This enhancement lets you more easily fix errors and incrementally build the approval rule conditional logic. You can see the effect of changes without having to create and submit new transactions. Next, we have default salary from grade ladders when there is a future salary record. You can now default a person's salary from the grade ladder. In HR actions, when there is a future salary record, Previously, you saw a warning message if a future salary record existed and you had to update the salary separately. The example here shows a change assignment action. You can change the grade or step and then move to the salary section. The two warning messages appear. The first message says that one or more future salary records exist, so the proposed salary will apply only to the closest future salary start date. The second message says that there is a future salary record, so the salary isn't updated from the grade ladder. The current salary is 8,000 and the proposed salary is same. You can directly update the salary here, but it won't default from the grade ladder. We have to keep in mind that the salary update will apply only to the closest future salary date as indicated by the first warning message. We may also need to separately review and update the future records. To enable this feature, we have to go to Setup and Maintenance work area, and under the Configure Global Compensation task, we have to move to the Grid Step Progression sections, and there we have to deselect the Prevent Salary Default when salary record exists with a future date checkbox. The name has been renamed as a part of this update. The next category is opt-ins. To enable opt-in features, customers have to raise an Oracle SR. There is only one update from this category. The update is total compensation statement, payroll balance enhancements. Three new additional dimensions have been added for the payroll balance: fiscal year to date, inception to date, and rolling 12 months. For adding some of the dimensions, you may have to raise an Oracle SR. The new dimensions are fiscal year to date. If the statement end date is 31st of December of 2022, the data would be from beginning of your fiscal year to the 31st December of 2022. For the inception to date, if the statement end date is 31st December of 2022 and the employee start date is from 1st January 2000, the data would be from the employee start date to the statement end date. That is, it will be from 1st of January of 2000 to 31st of December of 2022. For the rolling 12 months, if the statement end date is 31st of October of 2022, the data will be from 1st of November 2021 to 31st of October 2022. That will be the 12 months. This feature extends the ability to display payroll balances in total compensation statements by using the additional dimension level, period types of fiscal year to date, inception to date, and rolling 12 months. Our next category is reporting. There are three updates in this section, and the three updates are from the compensation module. The first update is new duty role to secure the individual compensation work area. In the 23A update, Oracle has added two new duty roles in addition to the existing ones. Before the current releases, compensation individual compensation real-time subject area was secured by the given duty roles, the FBI, the ORA, and the again FBI and ORA ones. Now, the compensation users and the implementers don't need any kind of additional roles if they have the roles like compensation manager, compensation analyst, or line manager. The duty roles are automatically added to the job roles. The given new duty roles are displayed at the bottom of the screen. These enhancements improve people's access to and reporting on the compensation, individual compensation real-time subject area with two new duty roles. Along with the existing duty roles, the new role secures this subject area. Next, we have reporting on internal child job details associated to the survey data benchmark job. We can now use the subject area compensation market data real time to view the details of the child jobs associated to the survey data benchmark job. A new folder named internal child job is added to the market survey job. This folder includes attributes related to the child jobs. Let's consider an example. A survey job S1 has been linked to an internal job J1. Now, if the job J1 has been mapped to the multiple child jobs C1, C2, and C3, the details for C1, C2, and C3 can be mapped to the internal job J1. You can enhance reporting on the compensation market survey data with the inclusion of internal child processes associated with the benchmark or parent process. Moving ahead to our next update, new metric to report on prior salary based on comparable salary frequency. Here are the changes to the salary subject areas. Four of the existing columns have been renamed and two new columns have been added. So in the salary details real-time subject area, for the folder salary, the previous salary metric name has been renamed to the prior salary in prior frequency. Again, in the same folder, prior salary in comparable frequency has been added newly. Under the folder salary amounts in UPC, prior salary in user preferred currency has been renamed to prior salary in prior frequency, UPC, that is the closest to the system date. In the salary history details real-time subject area, under salary history folder, the previous salary column has been renamed to prior salary in prior frequency. The prior salary in comparable frequency metric has been added newly. Under the folder salary history amount in UPC, the prior salary in user preferred currency has been renamed to the prior salary in prior frequency. With this update, enhance your reports that use the salary details and salary history details subject areas by adding the new metric to display the worker's prior salary in the salary frequency of the specific period. And with this, we come to an end of our quarterly updates for benefits and compensation. Thank you all for being so patient and for being a wonderful audience. I request Komal to take it forward.
Thank you, Aditya. These were actually very wonderful insights. It was a detailed presentation. Before we move to question and answer, with the help of a quick poll, we would quickly like to note down your area of interest in order to organize future webinars with more value based content. Launching the polls on your screen now. So, here is the poll. Please let us know your area of interest, whether it is managed services, innovation technologies, VBA and data, or cloud transformation. Thank you all for participating. Moving to question and answers. I would request Ankita and Sandeep to please check and do let us know if there are any questions.
Yes, we have a one question that is regarding the please share the slide with us from the Sachin. So sure, we will share the slide with you.
Thank you, Sandeep. So, You will receive an email in next couple of days wherein presentation and session recordings and transcripts would be available to you at a single click. Before you leave us, we would like to have a quick feedback on our today's session. Thank you, everyone. So now what happens next? As mentioned, we'll be sending you presentation and session recordings. You can even speak to your support managers or CES service managers for additional services or quarterly updates. We also have next sessions planned on 19th of January, wherein we have two sessions. One is SCM and the other one is project portfolio. You can please register yourself if you want to attend these sessions. Before moving ahead, we would like to have a last poll for this session. Thank you all. And with this, we come to the end of this session. Thank you for attending. Have a great evening.